Alright guys, what's up? We're going to show you how to take apart the D.O.R. First thing we're going to do is you want to make sure you have a clean workspace. Try to have something so you can organize everything. We are going to work on the upper first, and then we're going to work on the lower second. Okay, upper is always, generally speaking, easier. You might have a red dot on it, you might not have a red dot on it. So just act accordingly, that's right. Okay, put this guy up here, away from the camera. The first thing you're going to do is you will, right here, you're going to pull down and out. And you have to pinch right here. You're going to pinch and then keep this compressed, okay? This, it will go flying, so trust me, it's happened to me a lot. Pull it out. And then right here, you have the guide plug, guide rod. You have the recoil spring, and then the little washers they have, little rubber ones. Alright, that's what it should look like. We are going to move this out of the picture. I'm going to keep this on the left side. I'll show you guys. This is going in the upper side for me. Alright. Next up, if you want to get rid of if you have the red dot sight, that's all you do. So let's get the right tool. That. Okay. This is the TM Pro red dot sight. 1, 2. If you have the cover, you can take the cover off. Okay. The cover will just it'll be like a little plastic. It's the same thing. Just remove it. Okay. And this is how you take the red dot sight off. I'm going to put the screws up here. Next up is you're going to push the outer barrel forward. Now you have this. Next thing we can do is take out the blowback unit. Okay. You have a screw right here. 1. This right here is just generally speaking, it's from 1911 style. This is when they started doing the gold match. If you're watching this, do I tell you guys to get the D.O.R? No. I do not like the D.O.R. I would just go with the traditional TM51 or the TM43. Get the cheap one. You don't need the extreme, you don't need the stainless. Just get the standard black ones. Okay, so little screw right here. And you can take out this little guide rail. Okay, you see this little screw right here? I'm going to put this up on the left side. And this should come out. If not, well, you know what? We're going to take this guy out and make it easy. Right here, take the screw out. So you can see this already breaks down just a little bit different from the TM51s, the gold match. The D.O.R is kind of a special one, okay? And that's really because of this setup right here. Next you're going to do, it's going to be a little hard, you're going to try to spread it a little bit and push, and don't worry, you're not going to break it. Okay, and you should be able to pull it down. And this guy will come out now, alright? I'm going to put that up there. And then we turn it over, and you should have the return spring. That is it for the upper. If you want to take the front side off, all you're going to do is really just push it off. I'm not going to do that, I'm leaving it. Alright, now you have the upper done. Next up is like what's going to happen is you'll see right here, you don't want to lose it. They have a little, it's like a guide plug for it. Okay, and that's how it looks, right? Should you guys see that? So you can take that out. You can pull out the loading nozzle if you need to replace it. This guy is healthy. Inside of here is I have videos on it. All you need to do is if you need to replace it, the rocket valve and the valve blocker, you will take the screw out. There is a spring in here. You might be able to see the spring, rocket valve, and then the valve blocker, okay? That is it, and then a little screw. So that is easy to take apart. You can see this is the new design they have of blowback units. Very different, very unique. And it is a piston cup. If you need to replace it, it's pretty straightforward. Just get a flathead and just pick it off. Okay. You will just sneak it in underneath, and you're going to push out This is probably the only part you'll need to replace here. That is it, but mine is still healthy after all this time and shooting and abusing it. Okay, so I'm going to put it back on. Okay, that is the upper. So we have the upper taken apart. If you want to upgrade your inner barrel or bucking, you can do so. Right, so you can see from here it is very different from a standard TM51 to TM43. Very different. That's why I do not recommend the okay, we're going to take apart this guy right here. Forget. So used to the old ones, the TM51s and the 43s, that this sometimes I forget it's very different. So you see the screw? Take it out. Okay, and then you should be able to pull it right out. So this screw right here, let's get this out of the way, is responsible for holding the hop-up unit in place. Okay, now you guys can see why I tell you not to buy the D.O.R. You're not going to be able to upgrade. It's very different. You'd have to get D.O.R. specific upgrades for it. They decided to change a lot of the stuff on here. Okay, if you want to take it apart, all you got to do is just take this one screw out, and then it comes apart, and then you can replace your inner barrel and bucking. Alright, once again, yeah, don't buy the D.O.R. Not something I'd ever buy. I don't want to buy parts that can't be upgraded, especially if it's a TM. Because TMs you kind of need to upgrade. Alright, now moving on to the lower. I'm pretty sure we are going to do, there's two screws holding the frame in, right? You have 1, 2, and then, okay, we have three right there. Okay, let's start with the outside first. Make sure your hammer's up. Okay, boom. Now look, we're going to separate because you want to make it easy, right? You have your upper somewhere else, so you don't need a tray like this, but just make it easy for yourself. Put the upper on the left or right, whatever works for you, and then I'm going to put the lower on the right side for me. So all you gotta do is make sure it's clean, easy to, clean up, follow and understand so you don't lose stuff. Okay. Now we need this screw out, okay? The next screw we need out. And make sure you have the right screw head. This one is a little too small for that. Okay, and then it'll come out just like that. Okay, three of them to take apart the lower and the upper. The only reason you'd be taking apart this is if you need to replace any internals in here, if they have broken. Okay, that is the only reason I see you'd be taking this apart. Otherwise, you should not be taking this apart traditionally. Okay, if you need to clean it, just take the upper off, clean it, wipe it down as much as you can, and then do it. And maybe once a month after many rounds, you can take it apart and clean. You'll see mine is actually really dirty, and we've been shooting it for quite some time. And he's done a good job of staying alive. Okay, if you want to upgrade your trigger, leaf spring, trigger bar, you need to knock out this pin right here, okay? Just get you can get a little punch. Sometimes they're soft, sometimes they're hard. Okay, we're gonna see this one should be soft, so all you need is just something to push it. Okay, mine came out pretty easy. If not, what you're gonna do is just get a little hammer, boom boom boom, tap it out. Okay, next pull down. This is if you want to replace the hammer spring in here. If you want to do that, you're going to push down, and you see this little detent right here, a little plastic part. That is what you're pushing out. So down and out, and then make sure you hold pressure, because it's going to want to fight you, and it's going to want to come out. And this is the hammer spring. This is how you replace the hammer spring. So I'm going to put this back in, and we're going to move it up out of the picture. Next up is the leaf spring. This is how the leaf spring is. There's a little groove that it sits in, okay? Let me show you the little groove. You see the little groove right here? This is where your leaf spring sits. And remember, when you reinstall it, the leaf spring must be sitting on the disconnector and the sear, okay? That is this part right here. You should see the mark. You should see where it's been sitting actually. One. And the second part is this silver part right here, this here. Your leaf spring has to be on top of it. You understand? Has to be on top, not under, not in between both of them. Both prong 1 and prong 2 are going on top, okay? So now, with that being done, you guys need to take out the magazine catch, okay? So you're gonna get a flathead, push in, and you're gonna twist towards you, okay? You twist towards you. Okay, the goal is to get this. Let me show you guys how it works. It's pretty cool. You guys see that? It's a little spring retention. There you go. So you're pushing in and towards you. Got it? That's all you do to take it out. So if you want to upgrade this, simple. You do not need to take apart the whole frame. And this guy should come out. If you want to replace the trigger, you knock this guy out. Make sure you do not, when you replace triggers, you do not want to bend this at all. You want to be very careful and delicate. This is an extremely important part to your gun. If you bend it out of whack, if you shorten it too much, you squeeze it too much, you will cause problems for your gun. Okay, so do a good job of knocking it in. You know, you can do something like this. You want to basically make sure you have no pressure on this when you're trying to knock out the pin. That is your goal when you're doing this, okay? Be careful with this. The same thing with the leaf spring. Both very sensitive areas. Okay, moving on to the frame. You're going to replace what's going to happen on TMs. These safeties will break. I always recommend you upgrade them, especially if you are an aggressive player and you play a lot with your gun. So you're going to flip it all the way up. Hammer must be down. Got it? Hammer must be down. You're going to want to do not lose this D10 set. I have spent so much money over the years because I lose these all the time. This will go shooting out. So when you open it, try to cup it and be careful. And you can open it slowly and try to wiggle and keep your hands cupped. Okay, eventually it will come out. Okay, you see how we caught it? Okay, and you can pull that out, and the second side, and then the grip safety will fall out, right? Just like that. We still have the spring in the front part, so do not lose that. You can tap it gently, and it should be 1, 2, 3 parts. You want to keep these. These are important. Do not lose them. Thankfully, you can buy them if you lose them, and I've had to do that a million times. Okay, next up is we have the frame. This is what you want to take apart if you have a broken, I'd probably say, what do people break the most in here? Probably the hammer and the, you know what, valve reset. Valve reset is what breaks the most. If I had to say I replaced the most on is valve reset, and I will show you guys that. Is the most common part. If you buy steel, you're done. You guys don't have to worry about replacing forever. That steel will last you a lifetime if it's a good quality. So right here, this is how it looks. So we have the hammer, we have the sear, and we have the disconnector. Extremely different on the D.O.R. Very different. So look, if you have a D.O.R. and you're trying to replace parts, make sure it's D.O.R. specific. I don't even know if there's support for it. When I bought it, guys, I looked at it and I was like, oh shit, this is so different that I never recommend it to anybody again. Okay, next thing is you're gonna take this spring out. So this is how the spring is right here, traditionally. Okay, so right here, you're gonna lift it up. You know, just uncommon hinge. You can take it out, just like that. Okay, and now this is the valve knocker you are taking out. The most common part to break is the valve reset. And this is the valve reset. You can see mine is still working. I'm not going to take it out right now. I want to leave this screw alone because this has been the same since factory. All right, this is I've only taken it apart once to understand what's different about it. But other than that, I like keeping it. You do not want to be unscrewing and rescrewing multiple times. That is something you should not be doing, guys. You are only going to take this apart if you need to do a deep clean and you need to replace parts. You don't need to take it apart 100%. So this, if you take it out, there's a little spring in here, so cup it. Make sure you cup it when you're taking it out so you do not lose it. And that is it. This is the breakdown of the D.O.R. If you guys need me to, should I just do a reassemble? Okay, you know what? Let's just reassemble. So just so I cover everybody. I'm doing this, guys, because I saw a comment and it popped up, and I saw that everyone was asking for. I saw a comment on the D.O.R. and everyone was like, "Please do a breakdown. Do a breakdown." I was like, "Oh shit," because I've been gone for 4 years. So I am finally answering those things after 4 years. All right, so disconnector first, right? Okay, and obviously I'm gonna, after the video, I'm gonna re-grease everything, but I'll probably do it clean too. I haven't cleaned. You guys can see this, but hey, this thing has lived. Okay, so you want to put the valve knocker in first. It's just easier to do it this way. Trust me. Okay, you're gonna get the valve knocker in, and you're gonna get the part that hooks. If I can get it. You're gonna get the part that hooks into the valve knocker. You'll see it. You're gonna hook in. You're gonna hold it down. You're gonna hook into the little triangle part, and then you're gonna just try to. Oops. Okay, well, we can just do it like this. You're gonna try to hook. You guys, I've always wondered why I get pistol stuff with my big old fingers. Okay, you're gonna go here, and then push. Okay. And you want to make sure it works. So what you do is just push it forward. Okay, if it works, hold. Put your thumb over here. Boom. Push it back a couple times. Make sure it feels nice and smooth. You got no problems. Okay, good. You know this. You've done a good job of installing it. Next thing you want to do is kind of play around here. Make sure it's incorrect. Nicely seated. Try to push the sear. Push the sear up a little bit. Okay, lock it. Boom. Okay, boom. This is how it works. Okay, you can see where that pushes the valve knocker in. All right. Next thing you want to do is hook it in right here. All right, and then we're going to drop it in. You want to make sure it's nice and flush, no gaps. You see right here, no gaps. That's what you're looking for. You might have to wiggle around a little bit. If you have a brand new one, it might be a little bit tight. Mine's a little old. Okay, so. It's easier. Next thing, put the screw in. Okay. Do not strip it. Make sure you got the right screw. Okay, going nice, and you'll be firm with it. Boom. All right. You can put blue Loctite on this if you want to. Okay. This screw can come loose. The second part that comes loose is that screw inside of there. So you want to keep an eye on those. If you've been shooting every week for a whole month. Yeah, go ahead and take it apart and clean it, and if you want to, okay? Do you need to? No, not really. This hasn't been cleaned in a long time, and it works just fine. Okay, grip safety in. These are the parts I would recommend you replace with steel ones, or aluminum at least. They'll be better, not better, but they break. So run these into the ground until they break, and once they break, go ahead and replace them, okay? They will break, I promise you. All right, next up is a detent set. The small one goes in first, so the short one, and it's got to go in this direction. You guys see it? I'm gonna put it right in there. Okay, boom. Drop it in there. Spring is going in next. All right, there we go. And then the big boy, just like that. And it will be sticking out. It'll be a little pain in the ass. I used the back of my X-Acto knife to push it in, and you'll see. You just use something thin, all right? So next thing you do, make sure your hammer is down. Hammer has to be down, okay? And see, I'm using the back of my X-Acto knife to push in the detent. So I'm going to push it in, and you'll see it just goes right in, and then push down. Boom, you're done. You got it, okay? And then what you can do to check the hammer and make sure it in is push up on the sear. Okay, And you should see the valve knocker. You see how the valve knocker is going forward? Okay, good. Hey, we know. And then push the valve reset. And now you know you've reinstalled it correctly. Because we can replicate what the gun needs to do, right? Boom. Next up, let's start building the lower again. We're going to put this to the side, okay? You're going to put if you got a new trigger, put it in. Remember what I said about the trigger bar. Be careful with it. Treat it like a princess, queen, king, whatever you want to do it, okay? Look at that. You want to make sure it drops in. If it is not doing this, you guys have some gunk, you bent the trigger bar, you know, you did something. It should drop always like this, no problem. You shouldn't feel any friction. Got it? Next up, I'm gonna put this in last. It's easier, and I'll show you why. Okay. Next up, we're just gonna put. Okay, you know what? We can do this. We'll put this guy here. All right. So magazine catching to lock the trigger bar in place. All right. Flathead in there. Remember, now you're gonna find that groove. You'll feel it click in, and you'll push forward, and it should pop right out. Check it. Make sure it's working. Good. Alright, shit, we're almost there, guys. Well, we got the upper too. So next thing you're gonna do is you're gonna put this guy on here. Make sure let me point it out for you guys. This connector is on top of the trigger bar. Okay, you guys see that? On top of the trigger bar. This connector must be on top. Alright, sorry guys, I'm not gonna lie. It's hard looking through the viewfinder and this right now. So on top, got it? And the reason why we're doing this, and you can put in grip screw here, is because I think it's just easier to do it this way. Okay, now you're going to turn it over, get the other side. Okay. Now you're going to lift the grip safety. You want the lead spring, remember I told you it has to be on top? You're going to slide in from the side, and you should see prong 1 on top, prong 2 kind of hard to see, right? Let me try to. Okay, there you go. Now you guys can see it. Okay, prong 1 and 2 must be on top. Don't worry about prong 3. Okay. Now what you're going to do is you're going to push down on here, get it into the grip. Okay, and then you're going to shake it because you want the strut to kind of be hanging loose. And you're going to push it into the main hammer housing spring, okay? You guys see that? I know it's going to be a little hard because I got to shake it. And you should be able to push up, and you'll feel it. It's going to have some tension. And this is where you can just put your thumb on here, whatever you need to do. Push that pin back in, okay? Just like that, boom. Remember, yours might be tighter, so that's okay. Go ahead and set it right here. Set it right here, and just smack that shit in, okay? Now we need this screw. And once we do this, we're going to function check and make sure we've done a good job of reinstalling everything back in, okay? Okay, good. Make sure it's nice and flush. The grip is in here. We're going to pull back our hammer. Okay, good. Look at that, all right? We're going to put this to the side. We are going to rebuild the upper now, right? So let's say your loading nozzle is broken, you have to do a new one. Take that apart, replace it, or just get a whole new shell, a whole new loading nozzle ready to go, right? Put it in. You're gonna make sure you have the little, guys, follow this is a new thing they added in the D.O.R. Like, once again, the D.O.R. I think is the newest Hi-Capa they have. Okay, and then you're gonna try to. This part might be a little tricky because you got. It's gonna be like something like that. It's gonna like snap in. Okay. Okay, there we go. I think we got it. Yeah, line it up. Okay, come on, buddy. I'm like trying to figure out how to do this on camera. I might have to just do this off camera. This is really kind of hard to. There we go. I think we got it in. Okay, so this part is always going to be the most pain in the ass, is keeping, you see how the spring came out? This part is where you're gonna have to play around with it. Sometimes people will do what they'll do, and I'm not a big fan of it because it does impede it, but they will put plastic like a tape over here. Look, if you want to do it, the rule is you have to make sure it doesn't put any friction on the return spring. You can put something lightly over, but if it's hitting it, and almost 90% of the guns I work on, I see it, I'm like, okay, yeah, it's been pushing, pressure on it over time, and it's just, so just take the time. This will be a part that's going to drive you nuts. It's going to drive me nuts. But look, on aluminum slides, you won't have this issue. But I don't even know if they make aluminum slides for the D.O.R. That's actually something I'm kind of curious. Actually, after I upload this video, I'm going to actually check to see what's available for the D.O.R. Okay, so I finally got it in. And you want to make sure the return spring is in there. Okay, you can see from there. First thing you're going to do, because they'll snap and you'll hear it, is pull the loading nozzle, make sure it comes back, okay? The only thing I do like is I actually do like this design. It's actually pretty interesting. So next up is we're going to put the screw back in. Now let's do, do we have to install this? Let's see. Okay, yeah, we're okay. So that can just slide right in. You guys see how I just slid it right in? Let me make sure I did on. Okay, yeah, I don't think I covered it. So this screw goes right here, right? Where is the? Did I put it back? Okay, so tighten that down. Nice. Now we're gonna do the really tiny screw. Well, it's a 1911 insert basically. They did it on the gold match, and they did on 1911s were the first ones to do it for the TM. Okay, nice and tight. You guys got that? Next up, remember, if you needed to replace any inner barrel of bucking, you would just take the screw out. You're done. Replace it. All right. Let's take it apart just to make sure for you guys. I know some people might ask, hey, does it take it? And yeah, I think it does. Yeah, it does. Okay, it's the same stuff, so you guys are good. So look, if you take it out and you want to replace the inner barrel bucking, it will take the just the standard, Hi-Capa inner barrel bucking. Thankfully, okay. You guys see that? You can always check these marks are what you're looking for. And to reinstall this bucking, will go in right here, that little window, and you're going to want to make sure it's nice and center. Okay, then you're going to get that little spring arm right here. You're going to hook it into the wheel. You see the little grooves on the wheel? You're going to hook it in, and then you will close it right here. And once you do that, you need to wiggle around until you get it, and you will feel it. It's going to be flush. Okay, we're flush. Hold it nice and tight. Is this a screw that I would Loctite? Yes, I would. Okay. I would blue Loctite this guy. Next up, you're going to put it into the outer barrel. And that's when you're going to install this guy. This is what locks the Hi-Capa unit into the outer barrel. Okay. You see, now we can't pick it out, right? Because this is blocking. So they kind of did a play on Wii's old design when they locked it here, but now they moved it up here. Very interesting concept. Very interesting. Okay, we got that. You're gonna get your guide rod, your recoil spring, squeeze it, You're gonna put it in here. You're gonna make sure you got it pinched. Just like that, boom. Right, now next up, if you have the cover plate, you just, you can put the screws back on. If you have the red dot like me, you're gonna just hook it in. You have to go forward and then down. And from here, we are going to tighten these screws. As for the red dot side by TM guide, it's good. It works, it still works to this day. I did take, it actually took one hit, top left. I don't know if you guys can see it, it might be hard. I did take a BB hit. So I was kind of surprised it didn't break it. It's pretty thick. But it's not something I would generally do, okay? You don't want to get a hit. You want to have a cover for it. And put the slash dot back in, and there you guys go. You have a D.O.R breakdown and reassembly from you guys asking 4 years ago. I'll see you guys around. I hope that helps. Take it easy, guys.